welcome back. Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth, episode 9. I can't believe we made it this far as well. Greetings to everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful week. Happy Friday to all. We have a very special episode today. This is Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth Oscar edition. Ready to determine who shall win the awards this year. I actually have 2 clipboards this time. I've got the normal one right here. Okay, you can see that going on. And I've got the other one, which has our Academy questions here. We're going to go through each of them individually, each one of the categories. So it's going to be a little different today. There's not going to be any kind of 1, 2, 3 punch as we usually do here at Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth. You can see we got the guitar over here. We've got the weird statue over here. We got our book. This is Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer. Of course, I love Henry Miller. This is one of the books that changed my life. The first things we're talking about here, let's see. Yes. A lot of people think the Academy Awards are stupid. They think that it's full of rich people who don't really give a shit about their viewers. They're just petulant brats, arrogant nepo babies, total drug addicts, secret sex club members. The list goes on and on about some of these actors and producers and directors. And of course, we went through the Me Too movement and we had to root out a lot of these people. Now, did we get everybody? I don't think so. I don't think we got everybody. But that being said, most of the artists and actors I know, totally cool people. All they want to do is bring a performance to you, the audience. I can only imagine that. I do this show and I'm freaking out every time I look at this camera. I've directed actors in the past. I have the utmost respect for people who are creative, especially people who work on film. The camera does not lie. That's why I had to lose so much weight, because I was looking like a fat bastard. So the first question is, why do I still love the Academy Awards? This is an easy answer. The glitz and glamour. I love it. I love looking at all the beautiful people doing beautiful things in beautiful environments, wearing beautiful clothes. Call it vanity. I like it. It's very aesthetically pleasing. I enjoy things that look pretty. Also, I have a serious love of cinema. Probably the one thing other than books that really got my attention when I was younger was movies. Now you watch all the kid movies and all that stuff, and then you read the kids' books. But then as you grow up, you start really appreciating the different kind of vibes that art can give you. I think 3 of the most important arts to me when I was growing up was film, literature, painters. So I loved everything else. I love photography. I love every other version of art, but I think those 3 really got to me. And funny enough, it's kind of the 3 things you can do just watching or being in a small room. You can watch films in a small room. You can look at paintings in books in a small room. So it's all connected to basically, do you have any money? Can you really go out? No. These specific pieces of art really got to me growing up, and even into my teenage years, into my early 20s and my 30s. I never really could kind of figure out why I loved it so much. And the Academy kind of has all of it. It's got best picture, it's got best sound, it's got visual design, it's got production design, costumes, hair, makeup, the whole bit. It's almost like films are the collaboration of every good piece of art. Visual, makeup, hair, costumes, acting, writing, directing. I mean, it's everything. Cinematography encapsulates every piece of art completely. And if you do it right, you can actually get an idea across to millions and millions of people. Now, most people, of course, most films are just, there to entertain, and you can do whatever you want with them. But some films are really true art pieces, that'll last forever. Try to write down like the films that always moved you. A lot of 90s movies like Shawshank Redemption got me, and that should have won things. And, I think Taxi Driver, It's a Wonderful Life. But each year, the Academy gathers together of their richest and most talented people to decide what's going on. And I love the show because it represents that. A lot of times, some of the people that I like who I think should have won didn't. And there's been some really surprising kind of curveballs over the years. Obviously, we're going to talk about last year's Academy later in the Creep of the Week section, but I'm sure you can guess where we're going there. So let's get into the 23 categories that consist of the Academy Awards for 2023. I don't know if they wrote this up. This is Pop Sugar. So whoever you are, good job. Thank you for letting me print this out for free. I appreciate that. The first one is Best Visual Effects. And the contenders are All Quiet on the Western Front, German movie, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Top Gun Maverick. I think visual effects. All right, visual effects. So it's kind of like special effects, I guess. Is it special effects or just how it looks looks on camera. I mean, we all know that cinematography has a huge part of it. And we'll get into that, obviously, category later. This is probably too easy. I'm going to go ahead. I already know what I would like to win, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Avatar: The Way of Water. Come on. I mean, Jim Cameron, how much money did he spend on this weird movie about blue people? I haven't watched it. I think I went to go see the first one. It was just very boring. Felt like I was on a Disney ride, but in my brain. What happened to Jim? What happened to Mr. Cameron? What a great director. T2, Aliens, or The Abyss. I think he just lost it. You know, some people lose it. I don't know. So Avatar: Way of Water for best visual effects. Production design. A lot of people don't know what production design is. It's basically just how everything looks on the camera, the backgrounds, everything, lead people. The categories for these are All Quiet on the Western Front. A lot of nominations for that one. Avatar shouldn't win because it's all CGI. Babylon, Elvis, and of course, Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. I mean, this is kind of an easy choice. Most people, I think, would go to Elvis because Baz Luhrmann is a master at creating a total vibe and scene. Think Moulin Rouge, think Romeo plus Juliet. I mean, he's done this a lot. I think Babylon should take it. The movie's not good. No offense. I mean, the director went to school in Rhode Island, my home state, but I couldn't even get through, the movie. I like La La Land a lot. I actually really like, I'm one of the few people who like La La Land, but Babylon might take it just for its regalia of early Hollywood and stuff. But I think Elvis is going to take best production design. Best sound, Top Gun Maverick. If you watch this movie in the movie theater, even at home, I was like, we'll get to more about my love of Top Gun Maverick in a little bit, but Top Gun Maverick should definitely take that. I don't know why they put the cinematographer so early in the show. I mean, these people, yeah, it's cool to have a director and it's cool to be a writer and it's cool to be this, cool to be that, but really what really matters in any kind of film is the person behind the camera. Yeah, the director's got their vision. Oh, the vision. Oh, precious vision. But guess what? Somebody's going to make your stuff look really good. And I've worked with some really cool cinematographers over my time, and they were really great and made my ideas way better than I could personally have ever made them. So who is the best cinematographer? The contenders are All Quiet on the Western Front. Again, this film, it's a great film. You should check it out. Next one is Bardo, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths. That would be the same cat who made Birdman. Great guy. Elvis, back up again. Empire of Light, and Tar. I'm going to say it's really difficult because these two are shot so wonderfully. So I'm going to go ahead and give a half and halfers on this one. I'm going to say it's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front, the cinematographer for that film, and Tar. Film editing. Editing is such an integral part of filmmaking. A lot of people say that the beginning of the film is an idea and the end is whoever's editing it. You can make anything you want out of editing. It's a fantastic art and skill. If you can do it, you can take some total dreck, and if you edit it properly, you can actually make it really, really good. So best film editing, we've got The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, we've got Everything Everywhere All at Once, great movie. You have Tar, there she is again, and Top Gun Maverick. My vote for this, I think they're probably going to go with Elvis because, Baz Luhrmann's always doing his kind of tricks and movements, and he's always kind of the king of showboating, of visual images. And although I think a lot of like Baz Luhrmann's ego gets in the way of the film, like, okay, we get it. You're super talented with all your tricks of the trade. But occasionally Baz, gets his own artistic head up as, where the sun don't shine. And it can get away in the story. Like think of Moulin Rouge, right? Great story. But then you have all these like weird cuts and jumps and all this other stylistic things that kind of get in the way of it. So Baz, I gotta say, yeah, you're probably gonna win on this one with the film editing, but I'm gonna go Tar. There's another one for Tar. Best makeup and hairstyling. This is an easy win. Again, going back, it's gonna be Elvis. I mean, again, hair, makeup, styling. That's Baz Luhrmann's domain. I mean, he's the king of this. Now we're gonna skip a couple of these because simply I didn't watch any of them. Best director. Oh boy, best director. This is tough. Martin McDonagh, Banshees of Inisherin. The two Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. I don't want to. Sorry about that if I said it wrong. Steven Spielberg, of course, he's on the list. Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Ostlund. It's got the umlaut over the O, so I'm thinking he's somewhere in the Nordic countries. Best director. I mean, this is gonna of those movies. I'm pretty sure. I love Banshees so much. I love it. 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 In my personal vote, directing wise, which is like running the whole show and really seeing and taking a complex piece of work and idea together and putting it together and getting all the different things together. I'm going Tar. I'm going Todd Field. Todd Field, you deserve it. I love you. Thank you for messing my life up because I've watched your movie 25 times. Costume design. This is again not hard to figure out. It's going to be Elvis or Babylon. Elvis is Elvis. So there you go. And, you know, Baz Luhrmann, as I said, is the king of making things look pretty. Best original score. This was difficult. It's tough. Their best original score, we've got All Quiet on the Western Front. Yet again, the Germans taking over. Babylon. Interesting. The Banshees of Inisherin. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Great music in that film. Great film. And The Fabelmans. John Williams. You know, I mean, again, no offense against John, but John kind of does what John does. But if I had to pick, I'm going Carter Burwell. The Banshees of Inisherin. Now, this is kind of a fun one. This next one here. Best original song. So you got the song from Applause, Tell It Like a Woman. I don't know anything about that. You got Lift Me Up from Black Panther, which I don't know why these Marvel movies even end up on these lists. I mean, some Marvel movies are good, but most of the time it's pretty stupid. Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. But I'm going to go a little bit outside the box here. There's an Indian film called RRR. It's very, very cool. I've been trying to get a lot of people to watch it with me. I watched it here at home. Bizarre Indian Bollywood film. There's action sequences. There's fight sequences. There's all kinds of different sequences, dance sequences. It's amazing. Called Natu Natu. Naatu. Naatu. What a cool song. I listened to it again this morning and just got me all riled up. Best international feature film. There's no argument here. All Quiet on the Western Front. Germany, hats off to you, my friends. Best animated feature film. The one that's probably gonna win is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but my heart of hearts that I kind of hope like sort of sneaks in there, and you guys are gonna laugh at me. I'm not joking. I'm gonna say Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So fun. Who knew that I would actually like some kind of cat pirate that was derivative off the Shrek series? Antonio Banderas I adore. The movie itself is so good. It's animated, so it's done well. So the craft is there and life lessons to be learned from it. It's kind of like what Disney used to do in the old days, you know, like when you would have these fantastic animated series where not only would it be interesting like the original Aladdin, you know, the Aladdin animation, there was a story, there was great characters, there was great voiceovers, you know, there was life lessons there. So I'm going, as far as me, Matthew Diabate is concerned, I'm saying Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Now we're getting to best original screenplay. I too have written movies, so I know how hard it is to do. Allow me to tell you the contenders. We've got, no surprise, The Banshees of Inisherin. We've got Everything Everywhere All at Once, screenplay by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Sorry again if I mispronounced that. Fabelmans. We've got Tar, screenplay original by Todd Field. And The Triangle of Sadness, screenplay by Ruben Ostlund. It's very difficult to pit movies against each other. No one likes that. I mean, it's just like anything else, like a basketball program or football players or great athletes, chess players. You love both of them. You love them. And then it sucks that we put things in sort of that kind of thing, but you know, there's always the best, the top of the line. Original screenplay. Oh, this is so tough, especially as a writer. This is so tough. I am so conflicted on this. I'm going to go ahead and bet on two. I think you guys are getting the hint here about what I'm really into. So I'm going to say, yes, half of it is The Banshees of Inisherin by Mark McDonough, original screenplay, and Tar by Todd Field, original screenplay. Either of those people win, I'm happy. If anyone else gets snubbed this Monday's show after this Friday, you're going to hear me bitch all day long about it. All right, let's just keep moving here. Best adapted screenplay. All right, that's easy. All Quiet on the Western Front, because that was a great book. And it's an adapted screenplay from the source material. So of all of them, I think there's Glass Onion, Rianne Johnson, Bad Hack, Living, which is really good. And it was kind of interesting because Kazuo Ishiguro is a really great writer. Try to watch Living. Really wanted to like it with Bill Nighy. I really wanted to like it, but I think the director messed it up. I don't think the writer messed it up. Top Gun Maverick, right? That's a funny one to be up for adapted screenplay, but it was a great movie. But yeah, no. And Women Talking, screenplay by Sarah Polley. And Sarah Polley is kind of like this great, one of my favorites from the 90s, kind of an independent actress. And then she became independent filmmaker, director, and writer. So I really love her. I just think as far as adaptations are concerned, All Quiet on the Western Front, go Germany, but mein Deutsch ist schrecklich. So sorry. When I was directing films, I always said that you always should respect the actor or actress because they are the bullet in your gun. The director is the gun, the actors are the bullet. And so when you pick the right ones, and if you fire your idea out into the universe, you will get what you want. And picking the right bullet to really hit the target where you need it to go is incredibly important. So we come to the best actress in a supporting role category. Here we go. We got Angela Bassett from Black Panther. We got Hong Chow for The Whale. That's that sort of yelling nurse. We'll get into The Whale in a little bit. I'll talk about each movie, but she basically spent her whole time just yelling. There was no real character arc. It was either yelling, getting mad at this poor fat man, or lamenting about something, then getting mad again, and then yelling in a shrill voice. Basically, she spends the whole time yelling at someone. That's not acting. That's just like being irritated. Anybody who's ever been married could just marry somebody and they'll get that performance all the time. You got Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Cool movie, awesome. Stephanie Sue, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Great stuff. But I think if we're gonna really be real here and talk about acting, I'm going to go with Carrie Condon, who plays Shaban, the Banshees of Inisherin. I found out that Carrie Condon has been working with Martin McDonagh since she was a young person. No, but she's been working with Martin for a long time, and she's been on the stage, and she's roughly, she's a little bit younger than me, but she's, either 40 or edging towards 40. I think she's gorgeous. She's one of these actresses who never had any work done. She is not afraid to just be who she is on the screen. And let's just talk about her performance. She plays so many different kind of vibes of personality. There's the caring sister, there's tragic figure, there's the trying to help her brother and trying to be the hero of the piece. She does so many different things at so many different times, and she does it in such a small way. Like, it's such a contained performance because the whole movie is like 1910 Ireland on an island outside Ireland. She is able to not only just carry empathy and warmth, but also sarcasm, and then she flips the anger, and then she flips the sweetness. She deserves this Oscar for her performance. Actor in a supporting role. A lot of interesting characters here. Funny enough, if you look at it, there's actually two different votes for the Banshees people. Love it. One is for Brendan Gleeson. We know him from In Bruges. We know him from an amazing career over his life, both on stage and screen. We have Brian Tyree Henry, Causeway. Don't really know much about him. He was in Get Out. He kind of played the main character's friend. He's a cool guy, interesting guy. He was on Atlanta as well. Good show. You have Judd Hirsch, of course, classic actor in The Fabelmans. You have Ki Hui Kwan. Ki Hui Kwan. No, he played Short Round. Ki Hui Kwan. Anyways, whatever. He plays a supporting role in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Does a great job. So cool to see him back. He was Data in Goonies. He was Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Come on. He was a child actor. He was doing fine. But this is kind of cool to see him come back as an adult male and just really just nail a role. So he did good. But, my friends, I'm going to go with another Banshees of Inisherin actor. He just stole the show in this one. His name's Barry Keoghan. And he kind of plays the village goof in the Banshees. Oh, what a guy. He's really coming up. He's got an interesting backstory. He kind of leans on it too. Oh, you grew up in 13 orphanages when you were a kid. Oh, your mom died of a heroin overdose. Oh, so like, yeah, a lot of reporters try to kind of put that into the performance. But if you really watch this performance in the Banshees of what this kind of village goof does, he just nails it. Every time he's on screen, you can't stop watching this kid. And he's a young guy. I mean, he's doing good. I think he's going to play the Joker in the next Batman. How many people play the Joker these days? He's great. And I think you should take Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Leading role characters. No joke here. This is some serious business. Let's read these ladies off. Best Actress in a Leading Role. I feel like I'm working there. Maybe me and Jimmy Kimmel could arrange a deal for some cash money, you know? We have Michelle Yeoh for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. We have Michelle Williams, another famous lady, The Fablemans. We have Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie. Anna de Armas for Blonde. That was an interesting role. Did you guys ever watch that one? Loved her in it. Hated the writing, hated the direction, but loved her in it. And of course, the great Cate Blanchett. All these women did a great job. We know this. But really, if you watch all these movies and you really take cinema seriously and really think about what's going on in cinema and you watch these performances, Cate Blanchett, she's on screen. She not only transforms the screen just by her presence alone, but the magnitude, absolute complexity of this character of Lydia Tarr that she plays. I have not seen a role, a female role, this complicated, interesting, to some people scary. Some people just straight up hated her. Is she the antagonist? Is she the protagonist? Doesn't matter. She eats up the material, consumes it. I grew up with her. I watched her in all of her performances. She has never let me down. But in this film, she was willing to play a character that could or could not be a malevolent spirit. I mean, it's complicated. This movie, we'll get into it in a second, but her character in this movie has so many layers to it. Plus, if you think about all this, she had to learn to conduct music, speak German, other languages, play different roles. There's physicality to the role. There's a lot of different stuff that she's pulling off in this. And I'm sorry, I love every other actress on this list. They're all fantastic, but I'm going with the great and honorable Cate Blanchett for Best Actress. Here's another tough one. I don't know. There's a lot of different people who are going to argue a lot of different things. Okay. Best Actor in a Leading Role. Austin Butler, Elvis. Colin Farrell, The Banshees of Inisherin. Brendan Fraser, The Whale. Paul Mescal in After Sun. And Bill Nighy in Living. Oh, man. Where to start on this? Where to begin on this? All right. I can tell you who's not going to win. Or at least I don't think should win. Not that they're bad or anything like that. Bill Nighy, I love him. Not the best. He always plays the same kind of irritable old English chap. Paul Mescal, great role. After Sun, fantastic. Colin Farrell, Banshees. A lot of people hate that guy because maybe he's too good looking, maybe because of his past, maybe what was his past? What did he really do? Just date a bunch of other actresses and go crazy and take drugs and drink all the time? What's wrong with that? But I mean, that's like the perks of the business, the byproduct of the establishment. You never heard any woman complain about him other than the fact that he wouldn't date him anymore. He's crazy. But if you look at his life and look at all the roles he's played a kind of an interesting, like, mix of different roles. The reason why Colin in this one is so great in Banshees is that there's a vulnerability to him that I think everybody's like, oh, wait a minute. So he's got the ferociousness, right, of the Irishman, but that simmering cool of keeping all of that emotion down. He did a great job. And then you have Austin Butler, young guy, good-looking guy, had to learn all the Elvis moves. He was doing his thing as Elvis. They're going to give it to Austin Butler. Did he do a good job as Elvis? Yes. Did he learn all the stuff? Yes. He learned the accent and the moves and the attitude? Yes. Everybody's a sucker for a biopic. My choice, personally, Colin Farrell, hands down. I think he had the most range. I think he had the most exploration of character for playing Porrick. He's one of the nice guys. So to me, Colin Farrell, I hope you win. It's going to be Austin Butler. That's just me. You guys can bet me $5 on it. Write down in the comment section. All good. And of course, the long-awaited, everybody always loves this particular topic here, Best Picture. Again, going back to it, cynical people will say, well, why should we pit artists against artists? I don't think we're pitting anything against anything. If you're nominated in this category, you did something right. And I don't care how cynical you may get about the Oscars. That's all about money and all about fame and all about bullshit and who can put their friends in the categories, etc., etc. Fine. Have that attitude. Please go ahead. I do not, because I do believe movies are actually magic. I do believe cinema is one of the greatest creations of the last 100 years. As I started off this, we said it's a mix and a mingle of every great piece of art in the world. You have the writing, the directing, the costumes, the hair, the acting, the psychology, the production, the business. I mean, it's the combination of so many different things at once. And if you make a really great film, it can change people's lives. Go watch the original Rocky and tell me that you didn't feel anything. Go watch one of Steven Spielberg's actually good movies, Empire of the Sun. Go watch that and tell me if you didn't feel anything. Goodfellas didn't do anything for you? That didn't change your life? It didn't, I'm Italian. I thought it was a horror movie. I didn't realize it was just a gangster movie. I watched it when I was a kid. I was scared to death of Italian people, and I'm one of them. Enough jibba jabba. Best Picture nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front. No surprise there. Avatar: The Way of Water. Why is this even on the list? No offense, Cameron, but why are you here? The Banshees of Inisherin. Elvis. Not a surprise. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Great film. The Fablemans. Again, Spielberg. Come on, man. Writing, directing a film about you growing up with your parents. Totally humble there. Little out of touch, don't you think? Writing a movie about you, about how you learn to love movies, but then directing that movie so you could direct a story about your history and time. Steve, I love you, baby, but it's time to take a break. Go to an island, hang out with Cape Catshaw, your beautiful wife, and just chill out for a little while and maybe start writing novels or something. Top Gun Maverick. Interesting to see kind of a pop film. A lot of people hate old Tom Cruise. Oh, because of the Scientology and how weird his personal life may or may not be. But I'll tell you something. Highest grossing film in all of the world in 2022. Now people will be like, oh, money shouldn't be part of it. Come on, Top Gun Maverick. I don't care what political side you're on, or if you're over here, you're over there, you're from Mars, you're from Venus, you're from the moon, you're from the crust of the earth. Everybody went to go see Top Gun Maverick. It was an amazing film. I mean, amazing in the sense of a popcorn movie. All right. Triangle of Sadness. Super weird kind of movie out of left field, but pretty good. Deserves to be here. And then Sarah Polley's Women Talking. Who will take the mantle of Best Picture? Again, this is tough for me. Yeah. Well, I'll just be frank with you. Yes, I'm an artist, so I have delicate sensibilities. Just kidding. I have no sensibilities, and I'm certainly not delicate. When it comes down to art stuff, what is really a good movie? The real answer is like, what is a good painting? What is a good novel? What is a great piece of music? It's things that will last. Some of these movies on this list, no one's going to care about where they are in about 30 years. No one's going to care about them when they're in 50 years. I am obsessive. Obviously, I like clipboards and stuff. I like lists. And I have a habit of watching movies over and over again, especially if they're good. The better the movie it is, the more I want to watch it to find what's wrong with it. So I just keep watching and watching and watching. And I'll even rewind other scenes or look at other scenes, and I'll try to get right down to like the nitty gritty and try to find anything wrong with it. Favorite movie, like the one that just made me just like, it's great to go to the movies, Top Gun Maverick. We already know that. All right, so let's get that off the list because we're talking about art here, and it is artistic. And some of those stunt scenes and all the crazy shit that went down in there was awesome. So Tom Cruise, I'm with you. When it comes to art stuff, not pretentious art. I'm just talking about something that just really needs to be acknowledged. There's only 2 movies that came out in 2022 that absolutely cannot be messed with. I've watched both of these movies about 25 times. I know it sounds obsessive. I told you I'm weird. It's The Banshees of Inisherin and Tar. I'm torn. I don't want to give a half and half. I don't want to do it. I already did half and half before in these things. I don't want to do it again. Sometimes you just got to stand up and just vote on something. These 2 movies were interesting because they both were in relation to art and how art can mess you up. In Banshees, I'm not giving anything away. One guy who knew another guy basically thought the other person was irritating them, and another human being was getting in the way of making their own creations in the world. They wanted to create music, and this other person is kind of getting in the way of that. Tar is similar. It's about the power and passion of art, and she plays a very, very high-class conductor, and she's traveling all over the world and all of this stuff. And yet, because of certain choices she's made in life and certain choices the people she chose to have around her, her quest for art actually starts becoming her undoing. So both of these films deal with the danger and power of creation. And I think this fascinating that they both came out right after the pandemic too, when we couldn't even share our art with anyone else. We couldn't do that other than on Zoom or a podcast, right? So I'm kind of torn because Banshees is such a small little movie about a small idea, but yet it's so big. And Tar is so big and yet about something so potent and strong. Do you see this pout? I know. I'm 45 years old acting like a 12-year-old. I just don't want to choose. I don't want to choose. But if I had to choose, my choice for Best Picture of the year of 2022, and this is probably totally just my own shit, my own personal thing. I choose Tar by Todd Field. I watched it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It disturbed me. It intrigued me. It excited me. It depressed me. It got my mind going in ways that I never thought it would. It doesn't even care about its audience. It's like if you don't know the references that we're talking about, we're not worried about that. It doesn't care if you know the backstory. It doesn't care if you feel comfortable at the ending. It's just a piece of artwork. To Tar and Todd Field and Kate Blanchett and every single person that was involved, from the music to the sound design to the production design, and every single person that worked on that film, congratulations. If you do not win this, I will personally go to the Academy Awards and burn it all down. All right, I won't personally do it. I'll just get someone else to do it. Tar, Best Picture, 2022. Let's move on to Creep of the Week. Since we've been kind of taking this episode on the long side, my audience generally is pretty smart. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give some inferences to you, and you can go ahead and take it as you will. And speaking of Will, my Creep of the Week is Will Smith. Remember what happened last time, Will, when you went over on stage and you slapped a guy? That's actually like a misdemeanor / assault charge. If Chris Rock wanted to press charges, he could have. He didn't. I've heard from a lot of friends on the streets. They're just like, I would have whooped his ass right there. I'm like, really? In front of, like, on NBC or whatever program it was, you would have just whooped his ass on national TV? I don't know if that would have been good for anybody. Finally, Chris Rock came out with his new comedy special on Netflix, probably not by any coincidence, called Selective Outrage. You should check it out. He does address it for about 9 minutes, and I'll let him talk about how creepy it all was and how weird it was to have a man twice your size slap you in front of millions of people in the world and then have to listen to people talk all kinds of shit on you for the next year. I don't know, man. I don't know. Creep of the Week really goes to him, Mr. Will Smith. I loved you, man. I loved you. I can't even look at you anymore. And the fact that you took the win when you won Best Actor or whatever the fuck you won, and to go up there and act so sanctimonious, like, we're over here, we try to, like, and he's like, got the crocodile tears, whatever, fake ass tears. And it was like a man who knew his career was over. It's like, this is the last award I'm ever going to get in my life. It's not just Will, though. It's his wife, Jada. Fuck you, Jada. Fuck you, Will. Fuck you, rich people who are just playing your little weird dramas in front of all of us. We're all working over here. I'm not saying you guys aren't working either, but you too, man. Like, fun fact, guess who's the highest contributor to Scientology Church in Los Angeles area? Will and Jada Smith. They don't talk about it. Everybody wants to shit on Tom Cruise, but guess who else is there? Mr. Will Smith and Jada. Oh, and this all happened. Yeah, Google that shit. All right, guys. Like, it's true. These people ain't right. And Chris Rock really nails it hard because Chris is really from the streets. He knows what's going down. But what's he gonna do? You want Chris to just fucking nail the dude in the face, and then suddenly a fight occurs and they got to close down the Oscars? My biggest thing was basically, I think if I was Will Smith and I lost my control on national television and I just hit another guy on national television, I would probably at or around that time just say, I forfeit my win. If someone else wants to take it. If Jada wants to go up, yeah, she would have loved that, right? If she wants to take the Academy Award win, fine. I'm out of here. I'm going to save some face. I'm going to go on a full-on apology tour, just totally be like, hey, Chris, I'm sorry. Or I'll contribute a certain amount of money to your favorite charity organization, or how can I help you in any way? I would have been so much more humble. But to go up and take your award and be like, oh, yeah, like this, it was so embarrassing and stupid and fake. And that is why a lot of people got turned off from the Oscars last year. So hopefully no one will hit anybody this time. What do you think, guys? Positivity? Yes. Let's go to the next section. We got a couple new talkbacks. I'll address a couple of these things. Let's see here. One of the comments that were told to me that I came off in the last episode, it was the creeper episode where I talked about all the people who I think are creeps. Someone said, and I actually love this. It wasn't an insult, it was a true critique. It was a really honest critique. It was really cool. This person said that I came off a bit of a hater myself. Right when I was hearing this information, I thought, awesome. I'm not necessarily nice and sympathetic person. I'm a fair person. You know, I don't know if you ever took one of those psychological tests or whatever. Apparently I scored super high in empathy and super high in fairness, but super low in nice and polite. I don't know why I'm like this. I wish I was different. If someone's in trouble, I help them. If someone needs my help, I listen to them. High in empathy, so I could feel them. I'm an artist. I could feel it. You can't be a creative person without feeling something. You have to feel and understand and think outside of your own mind and feel and walk a mile in their shoes. I can be fair. I think fairness is more important than nice. It's like the old phrase, you can respect someone you don't love, but you can't love someone you don't respect. Does that make sense? It so rarely goes the other way. So there's plenty of people in my life that I respect, but I don't necessarily like, but I respect them. There's not a lot of people in my life that I love that I don't respect. And I think once respect is gone, then there it is. Cool critique. So thank you very much for saying this. I appreciate it. Second one was someone else said that I came off very Republican in the last one. That's so odd because I've always been sort of a bizarre mix of libertarian anarchy. I think most Americans are kind of all over the place. You know, I think Americans are very centrist. I mean, if you really talk to anybody, you know, that some people have theories about one thing and maybe some people are more serious about other things. But when someone said that I come off Republican, that's odd to think about that. I don't consider myself part of any of the Republican or Democrat Party. And a lot of people would say, oh, you're hedging your bets, right? You got to pick between the two. I don't think so. This particular issue is complicated because I think that both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, as we know it right now in America in 2023, are kind of the same party. You know, they're both a duopoly. You know, they get money from the same big pharma, big tech, big everything. It all comes out. They're all warmongers. You know, we're always involved in some other bullshit abroad. You know, I think we got to fix our own country before we fix anyone else's country. You know, there's a lot of problems here. Education, literacy rates, train tracks, hint, hint. So yeah, to address your question, am I a Republican? That's hilarious. No, I'm not. To ask if I was a Democrat, I would say no, I'm not. When we do slowly get into these topics of what side you're on, I don't believe in sides. I think most human beings, especially in the United States, are very different kind of people, and we are based on an independent spirit. That's sort of what makes this country so cool, is that everybody can kind of be whoever they feel like they want to be. And if they want to side with one thing, or if they have beliefs that it's very strong about another thing, then do it. But at least we can do it here. All right. And the more you travel around the world, which I have, the more you see how lucky we have it here in this country. So thank you for asking that question. I love the talkback section. It makes me so happy. It gives me such joy that we're interacting like this. And it's fantastic. So that's been our show tonight. Hit the like button. There's a notification bell as well that you can click on, and that'll like alert you to our next episode, which will be Monday. Post Oscars, which we'll find out how right I was and how wrong I was. We got all the social medias. All the social medias are there. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Kill the Cat Radio. Pretty easy to find, pretty easy to follow. And then come Monday, it's going to be our 10th episode. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. Just after how long we've been doing this? We've been doing this for about a month now. That's so crazy. But anyways, thank you so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate your time and energy. We are Kill the Cat Radio. This is Sharp Teeth. My name is Matthew Diabate. This is episode 9, and I will see you after the weekend. Enjoy yourself. Check out the Academy Awards, and we'll talk on Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye.